Good evening, folks. I'd like to call the meeting to order of the Township of Lopatcong for June 6, 2018. I would ask that everyone would bow their heads for a moment of prayer. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided indicating the time and place of the meeting in accordance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 by advertising a notice in the Star Gazette and the Express Times and by posting a copy on the bulletin board in the municipal building. Roll call, please.
Yes, Councilman Belcaro.
Here.
Councilman Polito.
Here.
Councilman Wright.
Here.
Council President Pryor.
Here.
Mayor Mancucci.
Here. Need a motion to come out of executive?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Council is in executive session for approximately 1 hour, and the topics of discussion are as described on your agendas number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. That's it. Number 7 and 9 and 10 will be discussed at the end of the meeting in a second executive session. The minutes from both executive sessions will be available at such time as the need for confidentiality no longer exists.
Folks, any questions or comments on the agenda items only? Seeing none, Mr. McDonough, if you would please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, council members, for taking a few minutes to talk about energy aggregation. And I was talking to one of the councilmen before that I guess you've had some discussion with a town not far from here, Harmony, that has already done it. So my name is Tim McDonough. I'm the mayor of Hope Township. In terms of full disclosure, I also do some consulting for Concord Engineering, and that's who's here tonight presenting this to you. When Hope entered this, the energy aggregation program, I was not working for them at all. After seeing what it could do for us, and they asked me to help with some towns in the surrounding area. So we put together a group in northern Warren County and southern Sussex County, and formed an energy aggregation group, and Stacia will be going into a little bit more detail about that. But from a mayor's perspective, from an elected official's perspective, from a resident's perspective, the program has worked extremely well in Hope Township, Hardwick, Blairstown, Frelinghuysen, and Knowlton. Those are the towns that we went in, and we'll go over some of the other towns that are also part of it. It's a BPU sponsored program. When energy was deregulated years ago, they allowed these kind of aggregations to happen. JCP&L, who provides our power and provides your power here, will continue to do what it's always done. JCP&L does not generate any power now, and it won't generate power in this program. They are, and when you see your bill, and Stacia will go over this, there's two parts to your bill. There's the part of what you're paying for your energy, and there's a part which you're paying for the transmission. That will absolutely remain the same. That was a concern that I had. What happens if the lights go out? Who do I call? Nothing changes. JCP&L will remain that provider of the service. And they actually, if Lopatcong decides to join the program, they'll actually send a letter out, JCP&L, and that acknowledging that residents are now part of this program. In Hope, we've had, it is a opt-out program, and I have to be very honest with you, in the very beginning, that was a concern that I had as mayor of my town. But so everybody, what that means, and Stacia will go into detail, that means everybody's in it. If you want to get out of it at any time, you want to get out of it tonight, it's very easy to do. All you do is make a call. We'll be sending out a postcard. You send the postcard back in, and or if you want to come into the program, you can do the same thing. In Hope, we have less than 10% of the people opted out, and now people that have opted out in the past because they just weren't sure of the program now are trying to get back into it. When we first started the program, people saw tremendous savings in their electric. You can go on our Facebook pages and see what residents are saying in the towns that I just mentioned. It's all very, very positive. So with that, I'm just going to turn it over to Stacy. She's going to give a quick update, and then I'll be around to answer questions if you have any. Okay.
Stacey?
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name again is Stacia Scaduto. I am here with Commercial Utility Consultants and Concord Energy Services. We are energy consultants. We're not the electric provider, so we're consultants that run the program, basically the program manager for this particular community energy program. As Mayor McDonough had said, it is a state-run program, so we have to follow, the roadmap that they put out, which is through Title 14. And again, that's what we do. We make sure all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, et cetera, because it is there are regulations that we have to follow. So if I could just kind of quickly, I'll get into sort of the basics of the program, just to kind of give you a little bit of background and then how the program works, which is actually pretty simple. So there's really three things that we're talking about. The first thing is that nothing changes for residents. And the second thing is that residents save money. They have an opportunity to get a reduced rate on their electric portion. We're just talking about electric today. And the third thing is that it's very different than what we call standard third-party supply contracts, that somebody could go home, go online, pick a supplier, get a contract and a rate. It's very different from that. And mostly because it is a state-run program, there's many more consumer protections that are built in, which is why one of the differences, the main differences that it makes. So quickly, the background of it, as Mayor McDonough had pointed out, the part of it being nothing changes. So how your rates are set on your electric bill today is that the Board of Public Utilities has an auction, and that auction goes for all utility companies in the state. And through that auction, they have an auction, they pick a supplier, and they set your rate. So large generation companies throughout the entire country are the ones that are bidding to serve New Jersey residents for electric, and therefore give you the rate that you have on your bill. Okay, again, as Mayor said, JCP&L is not generating that electricity. They're not in charge of setting the rate that shows up on your bill today. That is done through the state. The Board of Public Utilities does that for them. Again, also for public service, also for Atlantic City Electric and Orange Rockland. So that is basically how that happens today. And the local process, or what we're talking about here tonight through community energy aggregation, is actually almost exactly the same thing, except for it's not being done at the state level, and the Board of Public Utilities isn't making the decision. You're making the decision on a local level. So state, again, auction, pick a supplier, sets the rate. We pull it down to the local level, so we would have an auction, pick a supplier, and set the rate. And that's why nothing changes. Okay, Jersey Central's main job is to get the electricity to you, and that's where they make their money, that distribution part of the bill that you pay. That stays exactly the same. So if there's any power outages, storms that come through, any other emergencies, they still do the meter reading, they still offer budget billing, anything with respect to how you're getting your electricity delivered today, every single facet of that stays exactly the same. Okay? There's one line on your bill, and if you pay attention to it, it's about 2/3 of the way down on the right-hand side, and right now it says BGS, or Basic Generation Service. That's the indicator for where you're getting your electricity and how much Jersey Central should bill you for that on your bill. So that in the future, that line will be replaced by the selected supplier once we have an auction, and it'll say XYZ Energy Supplier and the rate that you're supposed to get charged. It's the only thing that changes. And then there's a messages section up in the top left section. It says if you were purchasing through Jersey Central, this is how much you would be paid, being charged. So transparency. You look up top left, that's how much I would have been charged. Down on the bottom, this is how much I am being charged. So it's very simple. Again, so nothing changes. residents are saving money, because when we have the auction, part of the state statute is that our rate has to be lower than the utilities rate in order for us to move forward and offer a program. So there is the win-win for everybody, because there's no way that we can move forward if the rate is higher. So the state has a default rate, it's balanced out, it's a great rate. We come in, we're able to get some other suppliers into the market that can't participate in the statewide auction. They can sharpen their pencil, because we're not dealing with the entire Jersey Central area. We're just dealing with the small select group of towns. They sharpen the pencil, we get better rates. So that's how residents are able to save money. Mayor McDonough pointed out it is an opt-out program, so just like the rate gets set for you today by the state, we're setting the rate. If residents don't want the rate reduction, like they said, they check a box, put the postcard in the mail, call an 800 number that goes to a call center that's right here in Butler, New Jersey, or they can go online and opt out that way. So very easy. The other thing, and the consumer protections come into play, again, making this different than if you were to go home and look for something on your own, is that there's no fees, there's no penalties, there's no early termination fees. If you're in the program for 6 months, maybe you do find a better rate somewhere else, you opt out at that point, it doesn't matter. Okay, you can opt out at any time throughout the term of the contract that we have. So again, another win-win. That's part of the consumer protections that are built in there. Again, the state wants to make sure that folks can come and go as they please, no issues with it. The rate moving forward would only be for residents who haven't done that, selected the third-party supplier on their own, and also it excludes folks that have solar. There's some challenges with solar net meters, and we don't want there to be a hassle for residents. So they're excluded. We've been running the program for almost 4 years now. We're running 12 different programs, of which those 12, we have about 35 municipalities. Some are participating on an individual basis, most are participating through cooperatives. We're running the largest cooperative in the state through Burlington County. There's 10 towns in that program. And then locally, as Mayor McDonough said, we have the Sussex Warren Cooperative, which I think we have 9 or 10 towns that are in that now. A couple coming on very shortly. We have the Morris Area Group. We have 10 towns in that group as well. But all together, we've put about $6.5 million back into the local economy. So residents are saving money. It's been working very, very well. And we actually have locally, Hunterdon County, we have 3 towns that we're working with. They're going to auction at the end of this month. So we have a couple other towns very close to here that'll be getting some savings hopefully soon too. And I think that's about it. Just as far as update on savings, the Sussex Warren group, they're at almost about $500,000 in savings for their residents. And the Morris group, they've been in it for a little bit longer. Actually, they just passed the $1 million mark. So it's working pretty good.
Stacia, we have a crowded agenda tonight, so I have 3 quick questions.
Okay.
One is, if I understand your role, we looked into this briefly last year. We got a stack of papers that Pat from somebody. Your role is to negotiate the roadmap, right? You do that. You implement the program.
Correct.
For someone who's interested. How are you procured? Are you a professional service? Are there other people that do this?
Yes, so we are on the Department of Community Affairs approved vendor list for reverse auctions. So you can basically appoint us in that fashion. Concord is also the state energy consultant, so we can be appointed through that as well.
And my third one, and I don't want to turn this into a huge discussion, but it just seems to me that the people who bid through the BPU, they have an economy of scale. I just, it runs counter to my intuition.
Yep.
How somebody small can come in and beat them unless they're short-circuiting a lot of bureaucracy and paperwork.
Well, that's a great point, actually. So the folks that are participating in the statewide auction, again, these are gigantic like Exelons. They're from East Coast out to Chicago, most of the power throughout the country. They have to take on a lot of risk, obviously, and these are very large generation companies because they have to be on the ready to be able to supply to millions of New Jersey residents. The suppliers that we're working with, we're only dealing with a very small section. Okay, so they're not large enough, like I said, to participate in the state auction, but they can take on, you know, a couple 100,000 customers, and this is kind of like their niche market, if you will. And again, because we're on a very focused area where most of the homes are about the same size, as opposed to dealing with, you know, smaller towns and bigger cities and then having to take on risks of more urban areas of folks not paying their bill, that doesn't happen in this situation. Yes, sir.
What kind of savings an average resident can look to save?
Sure. So in Jersey Central Territory, we've seen anywhere between an 8 to 20% savings. That's mostly varied on, you know, it's a commodity, so time of market when we go to auction, but I would say on average between 10 to 12%.
Okay. And how long would that savings be applied for? Is it 6 months, a year, and then it jumps to competitive?
It doesn't jump. So when we go to auction, we can ask for different terms. Typically, we ask for 12, 18, and 24-month contract terms. We can't go longer than a 24-month term. Say we pick an 18-month contract, that's the best rate that we have when we have the auction. Prior to that contract expiration, we'll approach everybody that's participating saying, do you want to get another rate for the next term? Assuming everybody says yes, then we get another rate for the next term, but again, it has to be lower than the utility rate. So there's no automatic renewal, there's no automatic jumping to, if the market goes through the roof, there's no automatic jumping to anything. And if we can't get you savings again, everyone goes back to Jersey Central.
Okay, so the resident, prior to the 18 months, they'll get notified
Yes.
that these are going to be the new rates?
Yep.
They have a choice to opt out?
Yes, we go through, there's a whole process that we have to follow. We would also like to have outreach meetings here and any senior centers, anywhere that we can make sure that folks get the proper education and understand what's going on. And a big mailer goes out. Again, that's when all of the terms and conditions and all of that stuff is provided for everybody. Very simple, plain language. And then they have a choice from there.
Okay.
And then before we go through the process again, everybody would be notified, hey, great, we did a great program the first time, we just got another rate, here's your new rate, here's your new term. Anytime there's a change or a new term, everybody gets
I
notified.
have one more question. In Hope Township, right, you stated before that, you surrounded communities, Alamucci and Warwick. You have the same provider for all these municipalities?
In our particular group, yes, the Warren Sussex group is one same
provider.
Yeah, but some of the others, because they went out at different times, they have different providers.
Okay, so we can have a different provider than Hope Township can?
Potentially,
Potentially.
unless you decide to join that particular group, then everybody goes out together.
Okay.
And we get economies of scale in that way.
Okay, thank you.
Back to your question, I mean, you're locked in, and that rate cannot change for the time that you're locked in, for the 12 months or 24 months, whatever it is.
Right.
It can only go down. If for some reason the rate that the state has goes down, then we go back to our energy provider saying, can you better this rate? If not, then everybody goes to the default rate of the state. So it cannot go higher. And that's the problem with some of these other third parties, and some of the people maybe in the room tonight or other places have been burned by some of these third party providers. The BPU now has control over this, of these programs, and that cannot happen with this type of program.
I won't say that I was burned, but very quickly their promises were gone.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons that the state wrote the Title 14, because they wanted for there to be a way to bring competition outside of the BGS default rate, but at the same time provide those protections so that there's not these huge
It
variations.
sounds like a far better program, so.
Yes.
Anybody else have any questions?
Once you get out of it, you can get back in now?
Yes, you can, actually.
you can?
So if you opt out, like in Mayor McDonough's town, folks had opted out, weren't sure. We sent a postcard around, the program's extending, they opted back in. Yep, that there again is the flexibility to come and go as you please.
So I have one more question.
Go ahead.
How did the board become a part of this? Is this, we make the choice for the township?
Yes, so the process is that you would go through an ordinance, which is basically opening up and saying, okay, we're going to explore the program further, assuming that you would like to join in with the other Sussex and Warren towns, then you would do a resolution to join the cooperative, and then we would get rates for the entire group.
And then you decide at that point, if those rates, if that you think it's worthwhile for Lopat to go into it, and your residents would benefit from it, then you do it. If you don't think it's beneficial, then you don't do it.
Okay.
And you always, every time there's a new term or contract, you have that option. We're going to proceed, we're not going to proceed, whatever is, it's up to you. This isn't like a long-term thing that you have to worry about.
So let me ask you a quick question. If we as a council make a decision to join your program, our residents will be notified how?
By U.S. mail, we'll put things out. I don't know how you normally notify folks of, meetings going on, if website and, any way that we can get to folks, we would notify them.
There's several letters go out. Concord will send a letter out. We did as a township, we sent a letter out from the township explaining it. JCP&L will send out a letter, and then we also had groups. We had our seniors group, we had the PTA, we had other groups that they would come and talk to and try to make sure they understand.
The only reason I'm asking is I would just anticipate a lot of people coming and asking questions. Because once you start messing with their personal bills and all that other stuff, they want to know what's what's going on, so.
Right, which is why we have the outreach meetings. And then within, once that mailer goes out, someone from my team will be here on site, because folks might come in or they're going to call here, even though we have our 800 number, so that this way we can take some of that off of your staff here.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions? No. Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Okay. Under old business, number 1 is to approve executive and regular session minutes for May 2nd and the 24th, 2018.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 2, 2018 budget, public hearing and adoption. Kim, you're up.
Yeah. The total 2018 budget, as introduced, is $8,190,796.34, with anticipated revenues of approximately $3,231,954.19.
Can everybody hear Kim?
Oh,
Can? No, in the back they can't.
oh,
There you
sorry.
go.
Let me go again. The total 2018 budget, as introduced, is $8,190,796.34. It's an increase of approximately $124,000 from last year, with anticipated revenues in the amount of $3,231,954.19, leaves you with an amount to be raised of $4,958,842.15. It is increase of about 2 cents, which equates to the average household of about $47 annually. Yeah, I scared you there, didn't I?
And the average house value in Lopat?
$231,000.
So did everybody hear that? On a $231,000 home, your taxes are going to go up about $47 on the municipal end only?
Yes.
So,
Oh, okay, sure. Okay, and the open space amount that we will levy is $264,691.
guess we need a motion to open it up to the public. Have a motion to open up for public hearing?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Folks, questions, comments on the budget? Making it very easy.
Close it and then say.
Now, a very, obviously this is my first year as your mayor, but we've very diligently, for anybody to sit up here and say they're going to cut your taxes, they're flat out lying. Nothing ever goes down. What we will do is do our best. If it's 5 cents, we're going to do our best to cut it down to 3. So, obviously, we have some road projects we need to get going on, there's a lot of stuff that needs to get done, and right now, with Mr. Pryor and Bocaro and Polito and Mr. Wright, I think we're headed in the right direction. So, I'm very comfortable with this budget. We do have a couple new police cars coming. We have a new street sweeper, which is already in the garage, right, Brian? That's great. I love to hear that kind of stuff. You get it today, put it in the garage on Tuesday, so, and we do have a couple new trucks coming. So, our DPW has kind of taken a back seat the last few years, so we got some new equipment coming for them, so hopefully we'll be able to serve you better. Mr. Betts?
I just, it's a real quick question, because I didn't hear it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know how I heard it. My name is John Betts. I live in Blakely Gardens at 225 Red School Lane, apartment Y14. So the budget is $8,190,796. What's the $4 million needed? What was that about?
Oh, it's amount to be raised.
That's the amount to be raised. So that's within the $8,190,000? Okay.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
And we also want to say too, Warren County decreased their budget
Yeah.
and their taxes.
Hopefully that will offset the $47, so, yeah. Anyway,
Do you know what that was?
They decreased it by over $1 million, $1,250,000, I believe. So I don't know, with the equalized table, I don't know how that
Works out.
Yeah, works out, yeah, for us, but
Right.
it's better than going up.
yeah,
That's right.
all right. Seeing no other questions, motion to close, public,
Motion.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Guess we need a vote on the roll call, please. Motion to act on the budget.
Yeah.
Got a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the budget.
Second? Billy?
I'll roll call that. Councilman Belcaro?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Chairman Duty.
Yes. Number 3 is ordinance number 18-07, second reading and public hearing to establish title and salary for the supervisor lifeguard at a rate of $15 an hour. Beth, you have anything you want to say on that at all?
Just that we introduced some new programs at the pool this year. One of them is to train our own lifeguards, and our swim team coach became certified through the Red Cross to do that. And we did have 8 candidates that are in the process right now, and some of which, we'll be hiring, right after they become certified. Some are going to the swim team, some are coming to us, so.
Okay.
And this is the rate at which we will pay him per hour.
Okay, good. Any questions up here? Seeing none, I need a motion?
Motion.
To open the public hearing, yes.
Second.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Folks, questions, comments? They're all on the lifeguard. Seeing none, motion to close?
Motion.
Second. Billy?
Second.
Billy.
Councilman Belcaro?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor Mendez?
Yes. Number 4, ordinance number 18-08, second reading and public hearing to revise, amend, and supplement Chapter 227 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, specifically 33B, to revise language in Zone 2 and 3 on Strikers Road. Need a motion to open up for public hearing?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Folks, questions or comments on that?
Kim, could you just explain it briefly?
Paul?
Yeah, I'll explain it. The purpose of this ordinance, there was a school zone on Strikers Road adjacent to the entrance to the school. Unfortunately, the school zone in the ordinance right now is not in compliance with the federal publications known as the Manual Uniform Traffic Control Devices. This federal publication is used to establish traffic regulations and in the design of various signage, striping, traffic signal devices, things like that. So I want to make sure that our ordinance is in compliance with that federal publication. So this particular ordinance amendment will do that. It will adjust the limits of the school zone to be in compliance with that document.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Questions, comments on that? Sorry? Steven?
Hello, Lori Tesla, 12 Mountain View Drive. I just wanted to be clear, because I know there was a little confusion, some people were talking about it around town, that we're not doing away with the school zone, we're actually tightening it up and making sure that...
The school zone is too small right now and actually doesn't encompass most of the frontage of the school property on Strikers Road. So what we're doing is we're extending that school zone to the south, so it encompasses the whole frontage and then goes another 250 feet to the south toward Baltimore Street.
Oh, okay, good.
And that's again in compliance with the federal manual uniform traffic control devices.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Question, comments? Seeing none, motion to close?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion act.
Motion act.
I'll make the motion to adopt this ordinance.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Fire.
Yes.
Mayor Mangucci.
Yes.
I'd like to go back to number 3 because we opened for a public hearing, we closed it, but we didn't do the motion to act.
Okay. Number 3, motion to act on that. Number 18-07.
I'll make the motion to adopt the ordinance.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Belcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Fire.
Yes.
Mayor Mangucci.
Yes. Under new business, number 1 is approve an Eagle Scout project to rebuild and restore the bird and bat boxes throughout the Lopatcong Park by Dylan Klein. Dylan? How are you tonight? How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Thank you for letting me present this project. I'm Dylan Klein. I'm from Troop 54 in Phillipsburg, New Jersey, and I'm obviously going for my Eagle project. A large part of what makes an Eagle project is that it is meant to benefit the community. I've lived in the Lopatcong community for most of my life. I've enjoyed a bunch of the stuff that happens at the park, whether it be Community Day or the Lopatcong football games. But one problem that I've really noticed is during the summertime, the bugs are just unbearable to a certain point. A few years ago, a former member of my troop tried to combat that by putting up bird and bat houses throughout Lopat Park, some of which are still present there, but they've actually gotten into pretty poor shape. So with this project, I'm hoping that I could better the community by rebuilding and restoring some of these bird and bat houses by refurbishing them and creating a few new ones, hopefully to lower the insect population. If this is approved, it will very much help the community because people will be able to better enjoy everything that goes on at Lopat Park without having to worry about all the bugs swarming their face. So
That's it?
Yeah.
Is a bat box like a birdhouse for bats, or is that what we're
Sort of. It's a little bigger. It's a lot more boxy. They are pretty similar, though.
So, what is that? This may sound like a stupid question, but a bat box actually does what? Houses that traps the bats, or?
It just provides a space for them to live,
Okay.
like a place for them to sleep, because the food is obviously at Lopat Park already.
Right.
If we provide them a space to live, it'll incentivize them to stay there longer and help control the population a little better.
We're going to put these up in the trees, are we, or?
Well, there's a couple of different spots we can put them on. I know there's a couple telephone poles that have birdhouses on them. We can do that with bat boxes. There are some bat boxes that stay
You're not
close
going to
the
climb the
ground.
pole, are you?
I wouldn't climb them.
How do we get them up in the air?
The fire department actually helped the
Okay.
last guy who did
All
it.
right, I got it.
That's fine.
I want to make sure we didn't have you stuck
Yeah.
up there.
So whatever you need from us, I'm sure we can certainly provide it. It's a very, good project for you to be doing. And our former mayor was an Eagle Scout, so we certainly have never turned that down. And the Scouts always do a great job for us, so.
Congratulations on pursuing your badge, so.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to see the kids out at the meetings too. I don't think enough kids get to us to know what we're about. We just had a Veterans Tribute up at the park over Memorial Day weekend, in which I attended and introduced myself to all the middle school band people that were there. And they had no idea who I was. So, like me or lump me, here I am. I want to try and introduce myself to as many people. So, Dylan, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And feel free, if you need to get up and leave, because I know a lot of times the kids get bored with what we do up here, so. Yes?
Actually, I just want to note that it's one of their staff requirements to actually attend these meetings, so having great programs that encourages them to.
Anytime we can get to our youth, I'm certainly more than willing to do it and see you here, because you really are the future of this township. I know I've been here all my life, so I was that age once. I'm no longer that age, so we can't do this forever, so hopefully somebody will pick up the baton when we all leave and move us forward. So thank you very much for coming out. Appreciate it. Number 2, Fox.
We have the...
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, still a motion for that.
Yeah.
Have a motion to approve that?
Motion. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, number 2, Fox Farm Road. Who's got that? Do we know that's on it? You have no idea what that?
It's on it.
There, you have.
Because they want some road remediation up there. They're worried about the creek and all that other stuff up there. So I think, Paul, you had looked into that a couple of years ago?
Yeah, I've been involved with some repair efforts up there periodically. I have not been there for some time. I know that is a roadway that the residents feel should be improved. I think the best thing to do would be for me and Brian to go up and take a walk up there and see what's happened to it over the last few years and what the conditions are. And we can report back to you at the next meeting.
With that stream there, any idea what we'd be getting into there as far as DEP and whatnot?
You get into some serious permitting issues if you have to deal with that stream corridor. You're in Highlands Preservation Area. You get involved with the wetland and the flood hazard area programs. So it would be complicated to do something with that particular stream corridor, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Mayor, I know the Osmonds on the one corner there made a complaint last year, I believe. The water was out overflowing the drainage into their yard and flooding their yard, so that could be part of it, so.
That's been an ongoing problem for years up there. I mean, at some point, we're going to have to address it, but obviously, it's going to take a lot of money and a lot of time, so, anyway.
As you addressed earlier, I know Fox Farm Road, and it's in poor shape.
It's been in poor shape.
It's one of many other roads in town that needs attention, as you stated earlier.
All right, any other discussion on it at all? Paul, maybe you can get together with Brian?
Yes.
Take a look at it again. All right, the consent agenda. Anybody up here have anything they want pulled from the consent agenda?
I don't want to pull anything, but I have 2 questions and a comment, if I could.
Sure.
Number 23, our fine arts agreement. I'd like to thank Lori Chesla. I thought it was a music grant. Turns out it's a fine arts agreement. But she took that on herself as chair of the rec committee and got that implemented. There's opportunities to have that grow, correct? So I'd like to thank Lori. Just the 2 other things, the approval with the school district. Katrina, do we need any kind of indemnification agreement with that? Or?
I'm not sure which one you're referring to.
To let them use that on
Number 4,
graduation
utilize-
night?
Yeah.
We're not going to have that policed, and it's the intersections aren't controlled and so on, do we?
That is, and I hesitate to speak on school issues, because obviously I work there. That is going to be policed through our park, and also at the Lopat emergency, or the emergency SWAT entrance to the park.
Okay, but I still have the question.
Well, so they're crossing public land?
Yes.
So I would think they're not really using the property for anything more than what they normally use it for. They're just...
All right, I'll go with whatever you...
Typically, there's no cars that come through there. It's chained off. So...
It's closed in the evening,
Need
so...
a certificate of insurance. Is there a berm there yet?
There is a berm there.
I don't know if any damage to any other...
School district is addressing that.
Oh, they're going to cut it back?
We're gonna put some 2x10s there.
Is this just going to be an exit movement?
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
For that night, it'll probably be about an hour.
So we want to make sure that when they enter the property, they do not make a right, because that would be going the wrong way?
Yes.
Okay, so as long as that happens, then we're good.
Yep. Yeah, they'll actually be going out by the pavilion, making it right through the parking lot, going out that way, so.
Mayor,
Yes. Go ahead.
that area there,
Yes,
was too big of a dip that these little cars will not make it.
correct.
We always had to put something, dirt there or something before you're
Correct.
going to use it. So are you planning on doing that or asking us to do that? Or
Yes, we'll handle it.
you're going to handle it?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And again, I hesitate to speak on school issues, but I know they've done all the proper paperwork,
Yeah.
to my knowledge, on it, so, because quite frankly, on that end, I told them to keep me out of it, but it's, yeah.
Well, I'll seek them the insurance certificate.
Okay,
I thought they'd already done that, but that's fine.
All right, I'm-
Check it out.
I'm done.
All right, any other questions on the consent agenda? None? We need a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Del Caro?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor Hill.
Yes. Council reports. Mr. Polito?
Thank you. EDAC, we are looking to expand EDAC not just to businesses in Lopatcong, but also the volunteer organizations, help them grow financially. Had some representatives from the emergency squad at the last meeting to brainstorm for some ideas, and one of the things we'd like to do is start up the townwide garage sale. So I'm going to be scheduling a meeting soon, invite them back and go forward with that, hopefully do it in August.
Okay, good.
And the LAA, they've had some concerns with regard to pavilion rentals, like the people renting the pavilion going onto the fields, and also the alcohol policy with regard to renting the pavilion and going onto the fields.
Can you say that again?
They've had some concerns, like with the alcohol policy, of if there's going to be alcohol served by whoever's renting the pavilion, they go onto the fields.
So has that happened?
I don't know if that's happened, but they've had some concerns about it.
I don't know that we can stop them from going on the fields once I mean, that's a public
It's a
park.
public park.
You know, so,
And they provide a special certificate of insurance if they're going to be serving alcohol. And that's approved through our insurance company.
that's it.
Thank you.
Mr. Belcaro?
I just have one thing. New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection inspection, which was done in April, and Bob Pearl from Chapman reported to the inspector that they come up with the infiltration and inflow of water coming to our sewer system. So they're going to come out with a report for us to minimize it.
Yeah, because obviously we're paying for it, so.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's it. Conclusion.
All right, thank you. Mr. Wright?
Okay, I got a couple things. 2 weeks ago, I met with Brian Weeks out on South 7th Street. Some residents were complaining about the new road that was put in by healthcare place. And they planted grass, they never put enough dirt there to make it even to the curb. Neighbors are afraid they're gonna fall. A couple neighbors that have some walking disabilities, and they want to know if we can help before they get there.
It's on the punch list, and the punch list was sent to Coordinated Health, and they've acknowledged the receipt of that, and it was indicated that they have to have that addressed in order to get a certificate of occupancy. So it's been acknowledged, and they have to get it done before they occupy the building, so we'll get it addressed.
Yeah, they planted grass there, they just try to cover it up with grass, so
Yeah,
keep an eye on it.
make sure it gets done.
Yep, beautiful, thank you. Second thing, Chief Garcia was given a generous donation by, what was it now, by Trans Bridge Line Security Manager Joseph DeFino. They were given $1,666.92, which the chief is going to purchase 12 gun-mounted lights for their weapons, which we currently deploy. Addition of this equipment will be used on a daily basis for officers and will allow enhanced patrols. So we'd just like to thank Trans Bridge for their generous donation to the PD. That's all I got.
I only have one thing. Gary Van Vliet, who's the chairman of the planning board, and myself met with a representative of Trout Unlimited, and they have funds available to do some work along the Lopatcong Creek, and most of it is along county-owned land. They would be doing some stream clearing, habitat enhancement, and biostabilization of the banks. There's quite a bit of erosion along this, but the part that affects us is the portion of the Ingersoll project that's in Lopatcong. We explained we don't control the site, the developer does, but he'd hope to have us help put him together with the developer and maybe coordinate this thing. His schedule is not this summer, next summer, so we have plenty of time. I told him we have some things to nail with the developer first, and then we'll bring him in at some point in the process. That's it.
All right, very short and sweet tonight, we like that. I just want to take the time to thank Joe in particular, because as many of you know, I have a full-time job. The fact that Joe's retired does not mean that he has to handle everything on my behalf, but he does handle quite a bit of it. His intelligence with township business, especially sewer and whatnot, is second to none. So I just want to publicly thank him for all he does for me as a mayor and for this township, as do all these guys up here. As many of you know, and I don't want to belabor the point because it's time to move forward, but you know, there were a lot of people at meetings a couple of years ago because it was entertaining for all the wrong reasons. But there were some good people on those councils. Some good people like Lori Chesley got caught up on what was the face of a bad council. So I think it's time to publicly thank her, not only for her service on council, but the stuff that she does behind the scenes, as do a lot of our volunteers. So I want to thank them. And as you all know, we've had a problem in an office here. It's no secret, it's out there on the streets. And I want to thank Kim and Jenny and Beth and Phyllis for all they've done to step up and take your concerns. They really are the people that are taking the beating. We're working on it. I can assure you it's not the way I wanted to start my term as mayor, but it is what it is, and we're dealing with it the best we can. So we have some good people in this township, some good people in place, and I just think it's time to, you know, as I've stated time and time again, very corny as it may sound, and I'd like the kids to hear this, Lopatcong being a people helping people community. That's what we're here for, to move the township forward, to be as congenial as we can and deal with the issues that we must in the best way that we can. I'm very confident in the team that's up here now. It's a pleasure to be back and just try and you know, just put some stability back to your council meetings. It's not always going to be easy, but we will not duck any of the issues that may come our way. So that's really it. I do want to make mention that our July meeting will be July 5th because July 4th is on a Wednesday this year, and obviously we hold our meetings the first Wednesday, so we will not be having our meeting then. Everything will be normal time on July the 5th. So that's all I have.
Do you want to talk about the July special meeting on the 12th?
We will be having a special meeting, as Beth just mentioned, on July 12th. We will be advertising on our website and in the paper and wherever else we can get the word out for the Ingersoll property. There will be some discussion on that. So a lot of you have heard about the warehousing or whatnot that may be going in over there, so that will be your time to, they're going to be coming and presenting some things that night. That may be the time for you to come and really learn about that Ingersoll property. That again can be a good tax rateable for us. It's a big rateable. So we want to, we want to do things right. We don't want to chase business away. Obviously, here in the state of New Jersey, and us being only a couple miles from the border, you can go 10 miles into Pennsylvania and get a far better deal than you can in New Jersey. So we have someone who's interested in that property. We'd like to do what we can to keep the business here to, try and build for our future. Try and get a piece of the pie. So it's, and again, not to belabor, I went to the Phillipsburg Chamber board meeting, or their award dinner last night. We truly are all one area. They honored their fire chief over there in Phillipsburg as their Citizen of the Year, so I happen to work with him. That gentleman's been over there for 39 years. Just a class act. He would not have wanted that award, but he got it. So, again, with Joe and the council, it's just, we're trying to put a positive spin on not only here, but also the area. So again, I certainly appreciate the kids coming out. With that, Paul.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Three quick things. Just want to advise the council that all the survey work and the mapping is done for the 2 sidewalk projects on Belvedere Road. I'll have more to report for the council at your July meeting. Secondly, I've submitted a budget for the 2018 roadway resurfacing program, which will address 6 streets generally in this area of the community. And then lastly, I was contacted by the Department of Environmental Protection today. They plan on auditing our stormwater program, and it's not going to be the typical audit that we get every 2 or 3 years. There's going to be people from Trenton coming up and meeting with Brian and I. And Brian, it's on August 16th now, which is a Thursday. It's probably going to consume half of your day. So you and I will deal with the state that day. Apparently, we were randomly picked. They're auditing towns throughout the state of New Jersey to evaluate compliance.
It's always exciting.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That's it. Need a motion to approve department reports?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Pay bills? Need a motion for that?
Before I make the motion, I'm going to recuse myself from the JMT bill, and I'll make the motion to approve the bill list.
Have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Valcarro?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Cryer?
Yes.
Mayor Moody?
Audience participation. Folks, questions, comments? Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes, my name is Robert Pfeiffer. I live at 37 Kyle Drive. I'm here to complain about my neighbor at 39 Kyle Drive. He hasn't cut his grass in the back for 2 years. It's this high. My concerns are Asian ticks, which love high grass, rodents. I don't know what I can do about it. I've been here several times.
Is Joe there?
Have you spoken to the zoning officer?
I have last year.
I'll follow up on that. I know there's a process, they have to give the property owner a notice, they have so many
Well,
days, and
He was there last year and gave him notice.
I think it starts over every year.
There, I think there's a point,
Did he act once he got, once the zoning guy was out there?
He cut the front, but he never cut the back.
I noticed that yesterday. The other day, he cut the front, right?
He cut the front, but he didn't cut the back, and when he cut the front, he just does pass.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get it.
Brian Weeks, where is he? Isn't there a point at which we do the work and we back charge the homeowner?
Only if it's in
Yeah,
foreclosure.
the way we always run it is, I believe the health department gets involved, our inspector gets involved. And then I get a note from ours that says, go cut it. All right, I take every piece of equipment that I need to do that with. They get billed for that, they get billed for the man hours, they get billed because it's so high, they get billed for me to change the oils, change everything. All right, you're gonna bring my equipment back to where it belongs. All right, we're not gonna destroy township, equipment for people. All right, so the bill is pretty good. It's not something that you really want us to do, but we do it, yes, all right?
Yeah, I guess my point is there is a conclusion to the process. We just have to make sure that everybody stays on track and follows it.
I mean,
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
yeah. 908-454-2075.
Is this property fenced in?
No.
Okay, no,
It's actually pretty bad. I live across the street, and, I mean, it destroys the whole neighborhood.
Right. So obviously he doesn't use the backyard.
To be honest with you, I don't know what they do there, but the concern that I have is from a pest control standpoint.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with the Asian ticks. They are a problem in Warren County. They are quite devastating if you get bit by them. They can cause some serious health issues, and they do love high grass. So you put all of that together, and for the benefit of the township and the people within the township, we really should get together and do something about this.
Property value brings the property value down.
Yeah, we actually, there are several spots.
Yeah, again, there is a process. I apologize if it hasn't been followed here, but Beth has your number, we'll follow up.
Thank you. Will this residency get a notice that he doesn't cut his backyard, that will come in and cut it?
Yeah, the construction zoning official will go out again and make sure he does.
Okay.
And they'll do
We'll
a check
get-
to make sure that he does
Okay.
what he's supposed to. We'll follow it right through the end.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Give him a few days to cut it.
We moved it where we have, I mean, some one residence community.
I don't want to wait in.
And we needed to cut people, the cops to come over and say, no, we're going in on your property, cut your property.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, we're the guys in doing the fix.
Let's do what we gotta do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Mr. Betts? You have to wear white suits now.
Contractor outfit.
This thing I want to say is with this, the energy aggregation, I hope that we will be informed before it occurs as to when it will occur. And so that we can opt out if we want to, as soon as it occurs, or when you can opt in, but like prior notice of when it's going to occur.
It sounded to me like we have to approve them even coming in. They will notify
Yes,
from there, so I would
I'm
hope.
I'm just asking that you
Yeah,
ask them
they'll
those
send
questions.
something out, I'm sure.
And then the only other thing is, the reason is because I have had situations where they do it right on the last day of the month, the bill comes out on the first, and like things are going automatically, and that's why I'm asking.
Okay.
So just that it's not automatic without prior warning.
All right.
Okay, thanks very
John,
much.
thank you.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Lori?
Got a list this time.
Oh.
Hello. Here, just on behalf of Recreation. Just wanted to let you know, we had the Recreation cooked at the Memorial Day event that the veterans had, which was well attended. We ended up making $336. So I know I was talking with Kim, and we're going to try to get that trust fund set up, because we already received some donations as well. Which leads me to the fact that EDAC is going to help us continue to try to raise some money for movies at the pool and music at the park. We're going to get a flyer for them. But we also have to start thinking about Community Day. And last year, we had a tiered approach. And we kind of said, if you donate this much, it goes towards the music that day. This much goes towards the entertainment. And then we also had one for fireworks. But I don't know how you guys feel about asking for money for fireworks if you want to.
I might as well answer, since I'm the guy that always argues. I love fireworks. I am just, until we get out of our financial doldrums here, I'm not going to spend taxpayer money on it. So if you can raise money privately, we're not going to oppose it.
Okay. Because I can start asking and see if we can get some. Because what I did last year is I secured a decent amount from a donor, and then was able to raise the rest, knowing that we could at least do something.
Yeah, I have to agree with Joe.
Yeah.
Although that seems to be the one thing that the township residents have asked me most.
Yeah, I know.
The fireworks, well.
So, they like them. So what I'll do is I'll ask around and see if I could get some foundations to that, and if I can, then we could go ahead and send out that letter. Because that's what I did last year. I didn't want to ask and then come back and say, like, sorry, we didn't
Yeah,
raise
once
enough
the money was raised last year, I think we cooperated
Right.
and
Mhm.
everything. I just, I tell everyone it's not in the budget. We have no
Right.
money in the budget for fireworks.
And then today actually started our music at the park, and on 7/11 we'll start our movies at the pool. We're trying this year, we want to be able to sell some snacks at Music in the Park. Movies at the Pool has a snack stand, but we'd like to at least have like chips, maybe some cookies and some water. The only thing is to sell that, we might need a little help. So I wasn't sure if any of you wanted to volunteer, and maybe if EDAC wants to help out.
Well,
Because when we get to the movies at the pool, we have to leave music at the park.
Yes.
So it's just, even if it's just like 6 weeks, even just one person.
You could certainly count on me for at least one night to.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll commit to one night too.
Yeah, just soda and chips, yeah.
I'm ashamed you can't. I'm ashamed you couldn't get in there with the hamburgers and hot dogs too, but I'm
You
sure.
could if you want, but
I'm
you
sure we get
gotta.
into a whole different thing as far as cooking and.
Yeah, the county.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
county health department,
So this
yeah.
is a little different, yeah. So, okay, good. I'll send you out an email and let you know.
Okay.
Another thing is on June 19th, the LAA is actually having their meeting a week early, and they meet at 8 o'clock. I sent out email to Recreation that we would meet at 7 o'clock on that date, just to see if we could get some of the people from the LAA together. What I did was I sent out some of the stuff that Paul had so generously sent me about the prior community center plans, the dog park plans that we talked about, like an overview of the park. And we've been asking everybody, like, just go ahead, ask for whatever you want. What would you love to see in the park? So I sent it out to the LAA. I got a lot of responses from them, and it's basically all the stuff that we have talked about all over the years, even from little small things to really big things. So I don't know if EDAC also wants to come to that meeting on the 19th at 7. You're going to be there too, yeah. So it's just kind of like to put together, because we want to present you with the ideas so we can kind of
Well, I think
knock
you and
them
I had
around.
some
Right.
discussions, and I know myself and Kenny Lutz have had some discussions about the possibility of getting a park planner.
Right.
We all have a bunch of great ideas, but we're not park planners.
Yeah.
As you know, we back when I was on the first time in 2006, we redid the park. And people love it. So with the music that you brought up there, and it's just nice to see the park very active. So
Yes, it is.
while I'd like to do some things up there, obviously, as Joe said, with the financial doldrums, but that doesn't mean we can't move forward
Right.
with some planning and whatnot. So
Because we just want to put together a list of things.
Yep.
Some you might be able to do, like some people are just talking, a few people mentioned those little exercise stations where you can kind of stop and stretch. And maybe you could put something meaningful on them, like dedicate them to somebody. And people are going all the way to like a community center, but just kind of like throwing out ideas on
how many
different things
times
to
a year is
do.
our pavilion rented? Is it rented most weekends during the summer?
Yeah.
Because that's something that pavilion's got to be, it's coming up close to 50 years. When that
Yeah, it could
pavilion's
use a
up there.
little
And I think
cleaning up.
we need a little help up there, and maybe some enhancements to it would further our, and again, if we could put some kind of a cooking station in there where we could make some hamburgers and hot dogs for the
Right.
music and whatnot. It's just,
Yeah, this is kind of just like our
Fine.
dream list, knowing that either you're going to need like corporate sponsors or some kind of, or it might take years to do, but it's kind of like just to put it together for you. So we're doing that on the 19th. The other thing I have is the pool speakers. I had gotten a quote, it came to under $3,000. I have some people I'm going to call to see if they are interested in sponsoring this. The speakers alone were about $1,360. And I'm also going to even see if I can get somebody to come in just to do that. Part of the problem is that the speakers we borrow are huge. And one of the problems is that I'm not necessarily sure that I can raise them myself. I just want to make sure at the very least, if we do have to use those, that we at least have some people at the pool that could help us. I don't know if the staff,
as far as putting them up with the stands and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yes, they are heavy.
they're very heavy.
Okay. I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but we're trying to work on that to see if we could at least get, because the other speakers that we're looking at are much smaller and weigh much less, are easier to maneuver.
Okay.
So I'll keep you posted on that. And I just wanted to say thank you for your kind words. You guys are all doing a great job up here too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. See, Mr. Kish had his hand up when I mentioned the park planning, so come on over.
It's kind of obvious to this whole section of the room that many of the things that Mrs. Chesler was talking about qualify as Eagle Scout projects. So as things like that come up and there's not necessarily funding in the budget, one of the things that these very young men have an opportunity to do is give back to the community by doing things like that exercise station. My ears perked up with that one. It's a perfect Eagle Scout project. So as you run into things like that, you have my contact information. Reach out.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Brian?
Oh, thanks. I'm done. No. I just wanted everybody on board, and I know that a lot of people listen to this video, so I wanted to kind of go out to them also. What's going on with the street sweeper is, I understand the roads are bad. We have to get out there. We have two mobile radios, all right, we're putting that in the sweeper. They're interfering with the chassis. And what's going on is you'll mic up the mic and it will turn on the lights. It'll turn on the light bars. It'll do whatever it wants. You drive down 5 feet down the road, it'll turn the truck off. All right. They don't know if it's the truck side or they don't know if it's the radio side. So It's something that we feel we need. Understanding, sitting in the middle of a sinkhole, the only way I was able to call anybody was with a mobile radio. All right, so as far as I'm concerned, it's a necessity. So anyway, that's what's going on. It's up at Freightliner right now. Everybody is together, Timmermans, Atlantic Communication, and Freightliner are all together. It was all under warranty, and they're going to figure it out. I had told them I'd like to have it back in 5 days, or get on it. All right, the community needs it done, and the mayor and I agreed with that. All right, but I thought you guys should know what's going on, and also the public, why the roads aren't as clean as they should be. So
For $220,000, they better get it back quick.
it's $269,000.
$269, now I feel even better, thank you.
You've been using it at the repair shop.
We used it for, I think, 1 week. It worked great. But, wow.
I think with radio on.
You just can't drive down the road and somebody mics up a mic and shuts the truck down. I can't.
Amazing.
Anyone else, questions, comments? Seeing none, we need to go back into executive session, so it's a polite way of me saying it's time for you to leave. Thank you very much for coming out.
We need to pay the London tax appeal.
Yes, I reached out to John Drakowitz, and he was supposed to send all the information. He hasn't got back to me.
So what do we still need to do?
I thought we sent him everything. And like, I'll call him tomorrow. Yeah.
Call them and tell them that they're currently charging interest and we're not paying it.
Okay. Okay, yeah, we have to go off the file.
How long does that take?
We're holding anybody who's behind in the base. Nobody's going on the list, and we're auditing those accounts. Nobody's going to be chased until
Okay, that's not too bad.
we clear this
You
mess
said
up.
3 months.
It's a mess, there's no question, so, as I said earlier, we are working on it, so. The taxes, sewer, the whole, yes, unfortunately, there's some litigation going on, and we can't say a whole lot.
It's being addressed in a very organized fashion.
Doing our best.
I put that up for me.
No problem.
Get it, so I can't, my new tax do it.
Okay.
They also, I haven't heard anything from all my jobs. Should I send a picture of you here with it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Not that.
He's almost as tall as I am, and he's on the floor.
You want to shake it?
Yeah.
Thank you. It's only on the, like, just two parts of your bill.
If there's anything else we can do for you, just let me know. All right?
Well, you're already in this.
Jason, you know, you gotta get this done for anybody.
Hey, Dave, thanks for coming out your group. Nice to see you tomorrow. Okay, sorry, we'll get you some, thanks.
That's my legs. Listen, we shouldn't be long, if you haven't been there, order me a tuna when it's cold.
I promise.
Perfect, don't worry, it won't be too long.
Did somebody try to call me twice?
That was funny though, because when I first checked, they had me meeting you 6 to 5.
Went that way?
6 to 5, that's what's posted on the county's site. And I said, I wonder if that leave will hold up
Back.
at the end of the night. Well, I said they're gonna.
We need a motion for Sycamore Landing? Excuse me? Sycamore Landing, do we need a motion?
No.
No.
No, okay, no.
Who's up?
Did they wait? Actually, Gary? Yeah. That's why he's afraid they're gonna run out of food.
You're getting longer again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's
got a lot
no
done.
I know,
malarkey and
I know.
getting stuff done.
I know.
I talked fast, I'm hungry. We need dinner.
Are you it?
Yeah,
That's it?
I'm the representative.
Okay.
Out there, chit-chat.
All right, we need a motion to come out of the executive session.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now, we need a resolution to hire an interim municipal court administrator. Chris Glenko?
Kristen, yeah.
And we will set her salary, obviously, or her hourly rate
The resolution, yes.
at $28 an hour.
$29 an hour, and when she's certified to 31.
Okay. All right, have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that motion.
Councilman Valcaro?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor Manducci?
Okay. And then we need permission for Katrina to be the enforcer. Exactly.
I'm not sure which one is that. Planning board stuff?
Yes.
Just authorize me to send a letter discussing executive.
Okay. Everybody get that? Have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
I got that one.
Oh, you got that?
Councilman Wright. Councilman Valcaro?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President
Yes.
Pryor? Mayor Manducci?
Yes. And then the contract with the LAA.
I'll make that motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Councilman Valcaro?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor Manducci?
Yes.
Violations clerk.
Okay.
And move forward.
Move forward in hiring violations clerk and interviewing and whatnot.
Thank you.
So,
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Councilman Valcaro?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
yes. Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.